Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we're going to talk about something that supports all three, and that is healthy nutrition. I am taking you behind the scenes for a month in the life of a nutrition challenge. As many of you know, I am a master's level educated wellness professional. Yes, my concentration was in dietetics. Yes, I know a lot about nutrition, but I still did this challenge with an open mind for a number of reasons: accountability, structure, and then just to see if doing something a little bit different works. So without further ado, here is my 6-week journey in the Street Parking Nutrition Challenge Fall 2019. All right, today is September 20th, and I have just signed up for the 6-week Street Parking Nutrition Challenge. Now, this isn't going to start until the 30th, so 10 days from now, but immediately upon signing up, I was able to purchase an individualized template and then be able to print out some materials. So they are giving me like a grocery list, the foods that are allowed, and then when I say template, I mean like, here's what you're going to eat macronutrient-wise, meal 1, 2, 3, and snacks. Macronutrients are like protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Something that I noticed that's a little bit different about this template is they also include veggies along with those macronutrients. So, I mean, I know enough to be dangerous with nutrition. I can look at this and be like, okay, it kind of looks low carbohydrate, but not really. It's actually fairly standard as far as carbohydrates are concerned. It's just they categorize with veggies. And I think that's a really smart thing because, as we know, if it came from the ground or had a mama, that's a good thing. It makes you big and strong. That's what we tell the kids. And if it came from the ground, it's a great carbohydrate, even though you can have other things like whole grains, corn tortillas is on here. Let's see, Ezekiel bread's on here. This is not like a hardcore paleo type thing. The food list, though, does look very primal to me. So if folks are familiar with Mark Sisson's work, it's almost like a paleo template that allows certain types of dairy, a lot of the stuff that's lower processed, just as well as some of your oils that like a purist paleo wouldn't. I'll tell you my background. Wow, I've done hardcore paleo. I've done zone when it was all in the rage in the CrossFit days. Like those are those where you do blocks out of your macronutrients. I know Mark Sisson's work because I really, really love primal. It's a little bit more flexible. And so immediately as I print out all these materials, I'm definitely drawn to it because at the end of the day, it's eat real foods. I love that jerf thing going on. Just eat real foods. Hashtag. So I like this as I print it out. Immediately, I think my barrier is going to be getting all 3 meals in. I, for about a year now, have been doing intermittent fasting. So despite being a morning workout person, I only take in trace calories until about 11 or 12 o'clock, depending on how aggressive my workout was. So when I look at this, I mean, there's no way to slice out a meal. In order to get your protein, carbohydrates, vegetables, and fats, you have to eat 3 meals. You just do. And so if I start eating at 12 and then stop eating around 6, that's a lot of food for a 6-hour window. That said, I'm willing to try something different. I am absolutely carrying a little bit of extra weight, like more so than I normally do in the summer. I'm about 2 pounds up. So my ultimate goal for this challenge is not necessarily to lose 2 pounds. I want to perform first and foremost, and that's the template that I chose with this in mind. But I mean, I've got to clean it up before the holidays come. I've got to clean it up. And this is really great timing being mostly the month of October because you guys, I will gain another 2 pounds in candy corn alone every October. I've done it every year. And so hopefully candy corn is not on the food list. So hopefully this will keep me from doing that. First impressions of this though, is that, yeah, I mean, this is a real food plan if it came from the ground or had a mama. And so that's consistent with what we love doing in our household. I just need the structure and the accountability of others doing this to make sure I stay on plan. All right, today is Thursday, September 26th. I have not yet started the challenge, but I did a trial day. Why did I do it? To give myself confidence. So I'm in a closed social media group with other people doing this nutrition challenge right now. And there are one of two types. One, it's people like me that are kind of dipping their toe in the water and seeing what their meals are going to look like on template. And then two, you've got people that are blowing it out of the water. I'm talking beer and candy corn and jelly beans and bear claw, fatter day style. If you've ever read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Body, you will get that reference. It's wild. There is no gray area. You are either black or white. But I took today to not only test out eating on template, but then also just to write down a few of my favorite template-friendly meals that I like, and I put that on a bulletin board near our refrigerator. It's a high-traffic area. I'm looking at it often. I'm typically in the kitchen as I'm doing my Instacart groceries, like putting things in the cart, and so I think it'll be helpful there. I'm so glad that I did this instead of blowing it out with candy corn, because it does give me the confidence to go into the next month knowing that I can stay on template. In the upcoming month, I do have my 20th high school reunion as well as a family wedding to go to. I don't know if I'm going to stay on template those days, and wine is not on the list of allowed items. But with this challenge, it just means I don't get points for that. And to me, that's okay. I'm probably not going to walk out of this thing perfect. And what today showed me was I can walk out with 90% staying on template, because it's not too far of a departure from how I normally eat. Now, that said, the 6-week challenge hasn't even begun. So let's see what happens. Okay, it is Monday, September 30th. I have just completed the first day of the challenge. I am choosing to go with the basic template, which is basically 3 squares within my eating window, as well as some post-workout food options should I choose. I didn't choose today. And this is something that I chose over an advanced nutrient training. So that would be like taking in your meals timed with your workouts. My life is just too crazy for that, but it's nice to know that if this is something that works, I can sharpen it up. Something that's interesting to me is we are encouraged in this program, as maybe you, listener, who have been in any other nutrition program, we're encouraged to do some baseline stuff. So to take some baseline pictures, to get a baseline weight. P.S. I am absolutely where I thought I was, 2 pounds over what I like my weight to be. So I'm 117 right now. And I actually did over the weekend a 1 rep max press, deadlift, and squat, as well as a mile run. Do I think I'm going to improve in these areas? No. But in 6 weeks, I want to make sure that if I am able to drop those couple of pounds and lean out, that I'm not losing any strength or performance. That's a really, really big deal to me. I think about baselines. Back when I was a health coach a decade ago, we used to tell people to have a pair of Holy Grail pants. I have a Holy Grail dress. It's like a A-line dress type of thing, but it's that one piece of clothing in my closet that I know if it's fitting loose or tight, I don't even have to step on the scale. I kind of know exactly where I am based on that. So I did try on my Holy Grail dress as well. And I'm bringing this up just because it's got to be more than the scale, right? As you're doing your baseline, or as you have those places you're going to measure throughout any challenge like this, it's got to be more than the scale. So I've got the scale, I've got my tape measurements, I've got photos, I've got my performance, as well as my Holy Grail dress. All right, it is Wednesday, October 2nd, and I am officially 2.25 days into this challenge. We actually had a baseline workout yesterday programmed within street parking, and I really appreciated that. So not only do I have my lifts and my run from over the weekend, but I know that street parking will reprogram this metabolic conditioning workout at the end of the month for all of the members to use as a measure of progress. That is awesome. So far, I am most challenged by the sweets. I have a huge sweet tooth, and what I find is I've been ending every single meal with some sort of dessert for, I don't know, the last year or so. And so take that away and yikes, it's hard. So I'm currently subbing with things like coconut butter, healthy source of fat. It tastes kind of sweet and it's pretty rich. So coconut butter is a good go-to. Also Greek yogurt with some almond butter mixed into it is another really great one. And then herbal teas. I'm using a lot of herbal teas and LaCroix out the yin yang. I don't know if it's the sweet thing with those drinks or if it's just kind of the oral fixation thing. So the sipping really helps, but that's what I'm doing to get through my sweet tooth right now. Coconut butter, yogurt and almond butter, and a whole lot of like sweeter type calorie-free drinks. I'm hoping to find some good recipes from other members or do some creative thinking myself so that I can have something that replaces. This is a lifestyle shift for me. So it's not that I'm never going to have a piece of cake when these 6 weeks are done, but also I'd really like to get to the point where I'm not having dessert at the end of every meal and I maybe have some substitutions. So that's my challenge right now, and I'm working through it. It is Monday, October 7th, and the wheels fell off this weekend. I mean, fell off, you guys. I was out of town for my high school reunion, and as you heard from a previous entry, I had planned to work around that, and I did. Friday when we were traveling, totally fine. Saturday, on plan until that reunion. And then I had 3 glasses of wine, which is about 2 glasses more than I had budgeted for. But you kind of knew that was going to happen, right? Here's where things just really went to, it was Sunday. I felt so bad from the wine on Saturday. It's almost like I was self-medicating with all the food on Sunday. So I had planned to keep it under control on Saturday and then be fine by Sunday. But I mean, yesterday was a total wash. I'm trying to keep it in the rear view and then just focus on out the windshield ahead. I'm back kind of on the plan today. I still feel bad, and I'm really disappointed in myself for just going off the rails. All right, it is Wednesday, October 16th, and I am feeling so fantastic about my progress over the last week and a half or so. And I think I have a key to success, at least for myself, and that's been in packing my lunch. Now, you guys know that I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I don't actually go anywhere for lunch, but stay with me here. Lunch is the meal for me that can go off the rails a little bit. It's probably because nobody else is here to stop me and be like, hey, maniac, stop eating. Also, it's my first large meal of the day. During this challenge, I'm not practicing intermittent fasting. After my morning workout, I'm having a serving of Red H Nutrition, Yes Way protein. And then I'm waiting until about noon or noon 30. So that's different than what I've done in the past. But that lunchtime is still my largest meal. So here's what I'm doing. I've got a lunch bag and I am portioning out and packing things as if I were going somewhere. And that's all I'm having. The food that's in that bag is all I'm having. I'm packing my lunch. I really think that this strategy could be used for you no matter what your trouble meal is. So if you go off the rails at dinner time, this is something that you could practice. Pack your lunch, right, as if you're going somewhere, but then eat it at home. It allows you to stay in control of your portions, and behaviorally, it's been a real success factor for me. It is Saturday, October 19th, and I want to take a minute to talk about community. You guys know that this nutrition lifestyle change is within a virtual gym fitness community. And yes, we hang on Instagram, and yes, there's a Facebook group specific to this challenge. but I think it's really important to have your in-person community at home being supportive of changes like this. It came really easily with my husband. With him, I just sat him down right before we started. I told him how I would be eating and how I would be grocery shopping and asked outright for his support. He did not give me a lot of pushback, and I love him for it. The harder conversation to have, and she knows that I'm going to share this with you, was with my mother-in-law. You guys, my mother-in-law is so sweet. She's the best cook, and she loves to show her love through cooking and baking. You know that type, right? With her, it's been a little harder. And she's even made some comments about, oh, well, when you're done with this challenge at Thanksgiving, or you'll finally be done with that challenge at Christmas. And I had to have the really hard conversation that even when the calendar ends on the challenge, this is a lifestyle change that I'm making. I'm not going to be doing dessert after every single meal. And so our holidays are going to look different this year. She was respectful. It was well received. It was a hard conversation to have, but it needed to be held. So I would encourage you, if you've got folks in your life that maybe you need to have a challenging conversation with in order to make a healthy lifestyle change, you guys have it. Rip the Band-Aid off and have that conversation. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, and one of the things that we're tracking during this challenge is sleep. So the idea is to sleep more than 7 hours a night. This is an area that I am struggling with, and I didn't expect to struggle here. Like most of us, I love my sleep. I operate best on like 8 or 9 hours. I just haven't been getting it lately. And it's little things like getting stuck on the internet at night or feeling like, okay, if I want to maximize my time before the kids get up, I can set my alarm earlier. But that's at the sacrifice of sleep. So what I've been doing is actually splitting the difference like my sleep consultant friend said to do for toddlers. I've been doing it for me. So I've been going to bed about 15 minutes earlier and then waking up 15 minutes later. That's adding a total half hour, and I'm hoping to next week up that to 30 and 30. I'm still feeling productive in the mornings. I'm still getting to noodle around online a little bit at night, but it's cutting it off at a defined point, especially for that nighttime interneting. And so I recommend for everybody else too, if you find yourself getting less than 7 hours, instead of saying, I'm going to go to bed an hour early, an hour and a half early, whatever, split the difference on your bedtime as well as your wake time to try to get that total added amount of sleep. It is Saturday, October 26th, and I am just dipping in here to say, today I successfully said no to a cheeseburger, y'all, that's a huge deal, as well as birthday cake. Also a really big deal. My son is now 6. We celebrated with all the food, but we does not include me because I did a salad at the burger spot. It's okay to roll your eyes. And then when everybody else was having cake, I had some Greek yogurt with almond butter mixed in. Yeehaw! It is Saturday, November 2nd, and I am so proud to tell you that I got a personal record, that's PR in runner speak, at the Fort Bragg 10 miler today. I ran this race as well in 2018, exact same course, so apples to apples, and I ran it in 40-some seconds faster than I did last year. It was a pretty aggressive time as well. I'm really, really proud of this performance aspect. Obviously, I'm the majority of the way done in my 6-week nutrition challenge, but to know that I haven't lost any performance is a really big deal to me. Is it because I'm lighter? I have no idea. We don't do scales during this challenge. In fact, ours that's usually in our bathroom, I took it out altogether. It's in the garage. I think I'm running a little bit lighter simply because my clothes are fitting differently. I've got a little bit more room in the waist of my joggers, for example. But I'm really proud of the performance. I've mentioned it in another journal entry, but I want to reemphasize the importance of goal setting with performance in mind. I will never forget walking into CrossFit Fairbanks in 2010, and the owner of the gym at the time did the intakes, and, they get your name and how often you're going to come and that kind of thing, and they ask you to set a goal. Well, I wrote down lose 5 pounds. He gave me my paper right back and said, we only deal with performance-based goals here. I can't help you as a coach unless you have a performance-based goal. So my goal ended up being do a pull-up. That's right. He asked me to make it smart as well. So we circled a date on the calendar when I would do a pull-up. And then he gave me a very specific plan to do a pull-up. Let me tell you guys, when I was in the middle of my workouts at that gym, do a pull-up, that is so much more motivating than lose 5 pounds. So it's not to say that, the biometrics, like your weight, isn't important, but if you aren't pairing that with some sort of performance-based goal, you're really, really not serving your efforts as well as you could. Performance-based goals for your consideration. It is Sunday, November 10th, and the results are in, and the results are good. I weigh 115 pounds, you guys. I lost the 2 pounds that I wanted to lose when all of this began, and additionally, I am down almost 2 inches collectively. If you'll recall, we did measurements at the thighs, the waist, and the chest. So in my thighs, I lost a 1/4 inch off each side. I lost a 1/2 inch in my chest circumference, and then 3/4 of an inch in my waist, jaw hitting the ground. I'm so excited about this. And you know what? The before pictures I so did not want to take. I'm really glad I took them because side by side with the after pictures, you absolutely can tell a difference, especially in my waist and in my back. I have been pretty consistent with my workouts throughout this challenge, so I know that contributes to it as well. But the pictures, it's very eye-opening as it's intended to be. I do wish I would have worn skimpier clothes on those pictures. I wore what I would normally wear like for a run, mesh energy shorts and an all-star bra, which is pretty full coverage. Note to self, next time I will wear my skimpiest little sports bra and some very tight spandex booty shorts because I know that there's a visible difference and I almost wish that you could see it even more. So next time I will dress skimpier. I am most excited by the fact that I had performance gains. So we had a workout that we revisited within the street parking programming, as well as I personally did a CrossFit total. In my total went up by 15 pounds, which is awesome. And then also in that workout, it was a metabolic conditioning workout. But anyway, I improved that pretty drastically. I don't want to get into the weeds too much on what the workout was. And most of all, I can fit into my Holy Grail dress. And this is something that street parking did not require me, but I want to emphasize that everybody should have something like this, an article of clothing that you put on and you know where your weight is without even having to step on the scale. So my Holy Grail dress fits really nicely. I made performance gains despite losing pounds. I am one happy girl. Did you make it this far? Are you there? Virtual high five. Thank you so much for listening to my audio journal of the 6-week Street Parking Nutrition Challenge. I know that these challenges come in different forms, shapes, sizes. What I hope is that my insight, and I know enough to be dangerous about nutrition, but I hope that my insight with some of those behavioral struggles will help you in your next challenge or effort. Let me know what you think of these audio journals. I got a lot of great feedback on the last one that was Zaya Active related, and that's why you got this one as well. Until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8, and this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. Okay, I've got Katie Danger with Red H Nutrition. Real talk, Katie, I didn't think I had any issues with sleep. And then I tried ZenRem. I'm going to say in about a week, I felt a tangible difference in that deep sleep. How in the world does that work?
Well, a lot of people are like you, Susie. They tell me, I don't have a problem with sleep, but you don't realize how much better sleep you could be getting until you actually start supplementing with a product like ZenRem. It's an all-natural sleep support. So what that means is there's no sedatives. You're not going to wake up groggy. It's not like Ambien, so it's not going to knock you out. But what it will do is it's going to promote that deep, restful sleep where recovery happens. It's non-habit forming, and it's really great for hormonal balance that promotes recovery and homeostasis. So if you want to sleep well, not necessarily sleep longer, but just get the sleep when you're sleeping, ZenRem's going to be perfect for you.
Can I tell you, I love that the instructions are to take it on an empty stomach because real talk, it keeps me from snacking at night. I want that delicious sleep more than maybe a sweet snack.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're going with that. And it works best on an empty stomach just because it's maximizing the absorption.
Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, but Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for listening to the Run Lift Mom podcast. This began as a passion project in February of 2019. I wanted to uplift other women in the areas of running, lifting, and motherhood. Here's what's happened. I've not only personally been uplifted, I have been blessed by the relationships with guests on this show, by the relationships with listeners of this show. Thank you so much for helping me continue this passion project. Here's how you can help even more, and it will take you less than 10 seconds, dear listener. I want you to rate, review, and subscribe. Rate, review, and subscribe. It really, really helps other people find the show, and it keeps my show sponsors happy.